Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber Member Connection. I'm your host, Eric Knowles, and you already know. Man, excitement. I've been excited for the last year. This is 2024. I'm really excited. If you don't know who I have on this stage, this platform with me today, you've been under a rock all your life. The iconic Mr. T. Willard Fair. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. If I complain, the Lord will be upset. Yeah. I have no complaints.
I love Mr. Fair. Yeah. I mean, you know, you've been doing what you've been doing. You know, we're going to get into the chamber because you were one of the founding members of the chamber back in 1974 when you was a youngster.
Very young, at the tender age of 27.
At the tender age of 27.
Just celebrated my 85th anniversary. So I'm still having fun. I will always have fun doing this work.
Amazing. You and I don't talk to you as much as I should. And I'm going to say, and we ain't going to go there. But, you know, when I'm around you, I'm so enlightened. We were talking about this whole thing about retirement. And just let the folks know before we even go into, no, I'm going to go there first.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this thing, retirement. And I should say, it's a mission.
It's a mission.
What you do, the work that you do, running the Urban League, the first job you ever had.
First job, last job, the only job. It's not a job. I'm on a mission trying to save all the children in Liberty City. So I'm just going to step down and do something else.
Okay.
For the rest of my life.
We're going to talk about that in a minute on our second half about what you're going to do for the rest of your life. But, you know, my mantra has been the rest of my life is going to be the best of my life. And running the chamber, you know, again, we were talking about, you know, people that say, well, when are you going to retire? You're going to retire. I'm like, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping my community grow, help businesses grow. And working with and having the honor and privilege to work with people like you, Ron Fraser, and others as we grow our community. 1970, what? When did you step into Miami?
1963.
Ooh.
Came straight out of graduate school.
1963,
at the tender
folks.
age of 24.
Okay.
Just celebrated my 85th anniversary as an old man. So I came here, fresh out of graduate school, gun-ho to save the world.
1963.
1963. Had just left Atlanta University School of Social Work, had been demonstrating and picketing and walking around with Martin Luther King and Abernathy and Jose Williams and all those guys. And I got a job in Miami. I needed a job. And I came down and they gave me a job. My boss said, well, I'm leaving. And he resigned and went over to Miami-Dade County, their renewal program. The board wanted to find somebody to take his place, and they were having a board meeting, and it got pretty heated because they couldn't decide on what person was going to take his place. And a man named Bill Smith, who was Jewish, who ran a flower shop on South Beach, said, well, why don't we give this job to this boy right here? So Dr. R.P. Davis, who was the founder of the Urban League of Greater Miami, a dentist in Overtown, said, well, boy, you want this job? So I said, yeah, if y'all want me to have it. You know the rest of the story. They gave it to me, and here I am 60 years later.
60 years later. Well, tell the folks about what that means, that you started at 21.
24.
24, excuse me. Came to Miami when you were 21, started the job.
Came to Miami, I was 24.
Okay.
Worked 4 months.
4 months.
And got the job.
And got
as
the
president
job.
and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Miami.
Wow. And that's the only job
Only
you've
job
had.
I ever had. It's not a job, it's a mission. You can't do this for 60 years, and it's a job. I'd have been looking for 65. I ain't ready to retire now. You know, I feel like I can keep on going because the job has not been completed at all. There's too many things that need to be done.
So tell me, between, get these years right, between that beginning when you were 24, 4 months into the job, and here we are in February of 2024.
Yeah.
give me that timeline and tell our audience, what have you seen? Not necessarily what you have done, because you've done so many things. What have you seen Miami go from the early age of 24 to right now?
I've seen the Miami that I'm concerned about go backwards.
Okay.
I have not seen them make the progress that they should have made. I think we have been diverted down some tracks that we should not go down. I think our leadership today is not what it used to be. I think our biggest problem is that we have no plan. See, when I came here, we had a plan. We created the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce to force the greater Miami Chamber of Commerce to recognize and give tribute to black business persons. When we created the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, it is not by accident that the greater Miami Chamber of Commerce accepted its first black board members, because they saw us understanding the value of having our own Chamber of Commerce. And rather than allow us to do that, they said, we better let them come on in with us. So you know what happened going forward. We've tricked them. We created our own and integrated theirs. But that didn't happen by accident.
Right.
We sat down and we had a plan. And we said, you gonna do this, T. Willard. Ron Frazier, you gonna do this. Dave Fincher, you gonna do this. Ms. Range, you gonna do this. And when we all assumed our responsibilities and carried out our assignments, that's why you and I are still sitting here today. It wasn't by accident, it was by a planned process that got us to where we are today. That no longer exists. We got too many individuals doing their own thing in the name of blackness and fooling folks that it's all about racism and other things. It ain't. It's about the absence of a plan that has been funded by the collective of black folks who are concerned about things.
Yes, sir. That plan, and obviously it's a plan you've been working on in the Urban League.
You gotta have a plan.
It's a plan that
you gotta have a plan. You know, I sit here 60 years later because I have a plan. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what we had to do. I knew that we could not do it if we did not have a plan. We could not desegregate schools in this community if we didn't have a plan. We could not place the first blacks in downtown Miami if we didn't have a plan. We could not have integrated the construction industry in this town if we didn't have a plan. We could not have placed the first black airline stewardess at Eastern Airlines if we didn't have a plan. There were no riots. There was no calling people out. There was no talking about institutionalized racism. We knew what we had to do in order to get things done. When we built Bayside, we didn't pick it. We simply went to the table and said there ought to be some contractors who look like us at Bayside. So Jasper Sweet, Thomas Benjamin were black contractors who went to Bayside. The Bayside Foundation grew out of our concern about making sure that we were part of that process. Brenda Rivers was at the airport. There was no demonstration. There was no riot. We sat down with the powers that be and said we ought to have some black vendors at the airport. We had a plan.
Right.
Today we have no plan. Today we just do our thing. And we do not get the results that we want. We holler, it's racism. It's the Cubans' fault. Here come the Haitians.
Put a pin in it.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be right back. We're going to take a minute break and hear a word from one of our supporters. We'll be right back.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I'm your host, Eric Knowles, and I have Mr. T. Willard Fair here with us, President, CEO of the Urban League for the last 60 years.
That's right. Been fired 50 times. Used to get fired every month.
Talk
Every month. Every month.
I don't know if you just heard what he said. He said he used to get fired every month.
Every month.
Talk about that a little bit.
Every month. Well, I was 24. I had an afro with a hole in it. I was wearing dashikis, bell-bottom pants, you know, beads around my neck. I was 24. I had just left the civil rights movement. I'd been running around with Jesse Jackson, Ron Kareem. I knew all the players. I was not the typical reserve, articulate, in your place, in your face, president and CEO. I was just me. And folks didn't want to accept that. That's why I got fired every month. They said that I didn't know how to dress. I remember they had a big party downtown at Bayside. The Alphas had a black and white party, you know, so it was black tuxedos, white gowns, you know. So I said, no, I ain't doing that. I went to King the Tailor and had him make me a white tuxedo.
So it was black and white.
Black and white, that's what I said. That's what I said, they said black and white. But the Negroes got upset with me, said I didn't know how to dress. I embarrassed them because everybody had on a black tuxedo and I had on a white tuxedo. I said, you said black and white?
What's the problem?
What's the problem? So the problem was I was not conventional. I didn't fit the mold. I was too aggressive. I didn't stay in my place. I didn't understand that there were certain things that I should not say, certain things that I should not do, certain people that I should not be with. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand it because it didn't make no damn sense to me to understand it. My job was to be part of my community. My job was to understand my community. When I came here, I lived at 5200 Northwest 12th Avenue. I rented a room, $14 a week. I rented a room. Every day, when I got off the bus, 21 from Overtown, coming back to Liberty City, I went into my little room, changed my clothes, went up to Liberty Square Housing Project and played basketball every day. On the weekends, I was not downtown. On the weekends, I was on 15th Avenue at Shadow Wars, sitting on the back porch, drinking beer out the pitcher with the brothers. How can I dare say that I'm concerned about the community and I'm not part of the community? How can I say I understand the problems when I never see the folks who experience the problems? So the community didn't know that I was the president of the Urban League until I picked up Hubert Humphrey at the airport, and the Miami Herald had me with the vice president of the United States. The brother said, you that man? Man, we didn't know that. Because that is never important. What is important is for you to know me and to know that I'm sincere. And therefore, everybody understood that. One of the times when they were going to fire me, the word got out. Everybody on 15th Avenue came downtown to 395 Southwest 1st Street, stood up around the wall and said, if y'all fire him, y'all got to fire us. You can't do what I have done if you're doing it selfishly. Absolutely. You can't last 60 years if it's all about you. So I never talk about what we do, for what we do speaks louder than anything that I can say. And in order to get it done, I can't be conventional. I have to be me. I have to be real. You know, I can't talk proper. That's not the way I talk. You know, I can't be acquiescing in conversation. That's not me. But I am sincere.
Absolutely.
I am committed. You can never question my motivations. There's nothing that I've done that the benefits have accrued back to me. I've always been concerned about my community. That's my job.
Right.
That's my job. And if I'm going to do my job, I got to be honest. If I'm going to do my job, I cannot worry about who likes it. I have to worry about what I'm doing. Is it right?
Absolutely. And in doing that job, I know you're making affordable housing and workforce housing. You're doing a number of things in our community. I know one of the things that you talk about is to ensure that our families are whole, or that the women in our community are protected. Talk about the housing projects that you've done.
Well, the housing projects.
Developments. I want to say
Thank you.
projects.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Developments.
Yeah. Well, Let me tell you how I got into that business. We used to raise money. We used to beg people to give us money to help us change them. And I was having my fundraiser, the Equal Opportunity Day dinner. And I called one of my contributors, and I said, I haven't heard from you. And he said, well, you know, Tal, at the board meeting, some of my board members were concerned about some of the statements you've been making. And we know you have a right to make those statements, but instead of buying 2 tables this year, we buying 2 tickets. So I said, huh? Yes, we're buying 2 tickets. So I said, okay. He was holding me hostage. He was saying, nigga, if you don't do what we want you to do, we ain't gonna support you. And you know what? He had a right to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had a right to do that. So I didn't cuss him out. I said, I need to figure out how I don't have to be dependent upon the largesse of others. If I'm gonna fight this fight and be victorious in fighting this fight, I gotta buy my own bullets. So I said, if I'm gonna fight this fight, buy my own bullets, I gotta make sure that when I do what I gotta do, it is beneficial to the mission. We believe that the core to our problem is the absence of strong black family units. When we looked at the family unit in Liberty City, 76% of those households were headed by women. We knew then if we could make those households whole, we could have a foundation to build on. When we did the analysis of those women, we found out that instead of spending 25% of their income for rent, they were spending 50% of their income for rent. So I said, well, this ain't gonna work. So let me begin to talk about how can I provide affordable housing for female heads of households.
Right.
Give them the incubator that they need at a price that they can afford to build strong black family units. So we begin to provide affordable housing for women and at the same time make some money for us. And given that daring, I have not had a fundraiser in 30 years. I'm self-sufficient. I can do what I want to do, say what I want to say, be what I want to be, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it
Right.
at this moment.
Right. We just got a couple minutes left. You say, obviously, you're not stopping your mission.
Oh, no. Oh, no, man. No, I'm going on to the next level. I just been elected national president of BAR, Blacks Against Illegal Refugees.
Okay.
If y'all don't understand, if y'all think y'all got some problems now, look at the southern border. If y'all think that unemployment is a problem in Liberty City now, look at the southern border. If y'all think the kids in our schools are going to be further behind, look at the southern border. If y'all think crime is going to decrease in our community, look at the southern border. If y'all think there's going to be affordable housing in our community occupied by us, look at the southern border.
That part.
Any rightful black leader ought to be outraged about what's going on at the southern border. So Black Against Illegal Refugees is going to be my mission. I'm going to make sure that we understand that they're putting us back at the back of the line. And come this election year, all of y'all who look like me, who are going to be pro closing up the border, have got to be insane.
This has been Mr. T. Willard Fair. Mr. Fair, if someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Oh, well, you shouldn't want to get in touch with me, but you can call 395. Well, no, I don't want to do that. Just stop by 8500 Northwest 25th Avenue. Sit down and talk to me.
Come sit down with Mr. Fair and talk to him. You'll have a day that you'll never forget. So if you want to know more about the Miami-Dade Chamber, and he was one of the founders of that chamber, you can learn more about that. Call us at 305-751-8648, m-dcc.org. Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Member Connection.